hairless, like the Nagin dance. When the person blows the basuri, it dances as the same way as the person is doing. Now, I would like to add a quote. Be as flexible as a snake, and your life will be like the playground. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.
The principals are teachers, parents, and all my beloved friends. Today, I'm gonna speak about the topic why are plants important to us? Plants are important for us because they take in carbon dioxide, which is harmful for us, and release oxygen, which is what we need to breathe in. If there is no plants and trees, we will have no oxygen and we will not be able to, and life will be not possible on earth. Plants, trees give us things like wood, paper, medicine, cotton, shade, and also keep the soil intact. Whereas plants give us fruits, vegetables, cotton, medicine, and shelter for animals. Plants also keep the environment cool and green. There was an incident when I was walking in my garden and I saw that all the plants have dried out. I was wondering why are the plants dried out? When I realized that, I remembered that I forgot to water the plants. When I watered them, it felt like the plant was saying to me, thank you. We should not cut down trees because we should not cut down trees. If we need to cut down a tree, always plant a new one. Always remember, if you want oxygen free, always plant a tree. Thank you and have a nice day.
Adarsh Namdeo from class 5A, and today I am going to deliver a speech on the topic A Day Without Electricity. One day in our town had cut power that lasted from morning till night. The fans and light are not working. We can't do our work in computer and watch television. We had to sit in the natural light of the sun and use candles at night.
Oh my dear friends, today I am Anushka Singh from Jailam House. Today I am going to express my thoughts on how I help at home. Both of my parents are working as dentists and I also have a little sister. When she cries for help, I take care of her. And I also study by myself so my parents can get time for the patients, because if I do these small acts, I also have strangers, because my parents help them to get rid of their cavities or any other infections. So I help them. I also help my mother while preparing food and with the dishes. Now I'm going to discuss how I help my grandparents. I help my grandmother by finding her specs and giving to her when she forgets where she kept them, and giving my grandfather medicines when he forgets to take them. And now I'm going to discuss some things that we should do outside. We shouldn't only help at home, we should also help outside, because small act of kindness can make some strangers smile. For example, help someone smile on a hard day. And also help happily at home. Because if you help happily, you will be happy and everyone else. Thank you.
Of you present over here, respected principal sir, esteemed judges, teachers, parents, and all my dear friends. Today, I Pratishtha Pandey from Jhelum House, and I am going to speak on the given topic, a visit to the zoo. We went to Indore with my family. We decided to explore and visit the places. First, we decided to visit the zoo. The next morning, we got ready and went to the zoo. The zoo was very beautiful. First, there were many categories of creatures to see. First, we saw terrestrial animals. There were many animals. I was very surprised to see them all. There were zebras, giraffes, lions, tigers, and many more. First, we saw giraffe. It had a long neck and he was plucking and eating the leaves from the trees. It was very beautiful. Then we saw many animals more. And at the last, we saw the most awaited animal which I wanted to see, the lion. I loved to see his style and how he was walking. It was very nice. We saw more kinds of animals like aquatic animals, reptiles, birds, and many more. There were QR scans also in front of each cage. We can scan it and got the information from them. My father scanned the QR codes and we got many informations about the animals. It was wonderful. Then we came from the zoo and returned home and slept. It was a very wonderful experience for me to visit the zoo, and it was more exciting and interesting than to see a movie or comedy shows. Thank you to listening me and have a wonderful day ahead.
I speak of Jhelum House. I am going to express some views about my topic. A funny thing happened to me. A funny thing happened to me when I was in 2 class. I was just tired, came from the school, ate the lunch and gone for sleeping. After a few hours, I woke up. Do you know what happened to me? I just gone to worn my dress, shirt, skirt, tie on my neck and belt on my waist. Then I just prepared my bag and gone to my mother and said, "Mother, please prepare my lunch box. I have to go to the school." My mother laughed and said, "Go to your father and tell him that he had to drop you to the school." Then I gone to my father and said to him, "Please drop me to the school." My father also laughed. Then I got to know what is the time is going on. It was 6 o'clock, evening. I looked to my parents. They were burst into the laughter. Then I just spent my time with my parents, ate evening snacks, played Uno and Pokemon cards. Then I know to that I got a lesson that day that whenever we are in a hurry, confused or tired, we are not in presence of mind. So whenever we are in hurry, confused or tired, first we should see the thing around us. What is the time is going on? What are the things are going on? Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.
Respected principal sir, teacher, judges and all my dear friends. Today I am Manvit Pandey. I am from Ganges House and I am here to share my views on the topic my best birthday party ever. Birthdays are always special. My elder sister came on 26 May. My elder sister came on my home. My parents had planned a grand birthday party at my home. It was organized in my garden and it was started at 6:30 p.m. The theme of my birthday party was animal theme.
All the decoration was as per the animal theme. My parents had invited all of my friends from my neighborhood and from school. Me got in party. We danced and played different games like uh, musical chair, pass the parcel, and etc. And we even danced. We enjoyed a lot. And at last, we eat food. All of my friends and family members loved food. And I got gifts. I got many gifts from my parents and family members and parents and many more relatives and friends. But the gift that I loved most was the gear cycle that was gifted by my parents. At last, the gifts were not important, but the important thing was the love and blessing from elders. Thank you for listening me. Have a nice day.
Granny's house. I'm here to share my views on the topic our country. There are so many countries in the world, but I live in India. India is the second most populated country in the world. It is also seventh country in the world. India has so many Diwali, Chhath Puja and many more. India's national bird is peacock. India's national animal is Bengal tiger. India gained independence on August 15, 1947. Thank you and good morning, respected principal sir, teachers, parents and my dear friends. I am Anushka Saran from Granny's house. Today I am here to speak a few words about my best friend. Having best friend is good, but it is not just having best friends. It is about helping them. If you help someone, they will be your best friend. You know, my best friend is Aisha Shukla. She helps me complete my work and I do the same too. We go to Agra by train. We saw the Taj Mahal in Agra. We enjoyed the train journey too. We ate different kinds of food too. One day I was hurt, but she helped me when I was injured. I like to say the quote, that is, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Thank you and have a nice day.
Now the class teachers and the subject teachers who are here, you will line up your students and
हेलो अरे थोड़ा इसमें फोन कर पा रहे हैं
which changed the whole world. Good morning, everyone. I am Tanishq and I am here to express my thoughts on the topic if I were a scientist. Now, scientists are people which are so fond and know many things about science. Now, if I were a scientist, it would have been a dream come true, as I wanted to become a scientist in my whole life. Now, I like to become a scientist because they do so many things like make medicines, do experiments, study about space, etc. Now, I will tell you the favorite thing which scientists do. They study about outer space because they discover black holes and discover about the nature of planets, study galaxies, etc. Now, because I am so fond about outer space, I will tell you some things which I know about this. First of all, there is a supermassive black hole at the center of each galaxy which puts everything in its place. Second, Ganymede is the largest moon in the solar system, which is a moon of Jupiter. And now the third point. The Andromeda Galaxy is a galaxy which is hurtling towards the Milky Way at a groundbreaking speed of 420 km per hour. So, scientists predict that the Andromeda Galaxy will collide to Milky Way in about 428 billion years and will become a super galaxy. Now, I want to tell you the association which I will join. I would like to join the ISRO because they are persistent, they are hopeful, and due to their ambitions. The best part about ISRO is that their ambition of Chandrayaan 3, which they planned, which helped them to land a Pragyan rover on the south pole of the moon. A thing which no other association has ever done before, and that is why I like ISRO so much. Now, I would like to summarize everything which I like what scientists do. They like to study about outer space, they make medicines, they do experiments, etc. And that is why I want to become a scientist in my life. Thank you and have a great day.
To be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Good morning to one and all present over here. My name is Purnima Sahu. I'm of class 8A from Satnaj House, and today I'm here to discuss about the topic how to overcome fear. By listening the term fear, what do we understand? Fear means being afraid of something. Everyone has some fear inside them. Whether it is fear of heights, fear of water, fear of spiders, or fear of closed spaces, which is also known as claustrophobia. If you talk about me, I had a stage fear until I went to the stage for the first time. And now I am not hesitated to speak in front of you all like I am doing it. And now I would like to tell you, like I am doing it, and now I would like to tell you that what sir, may I start from the start? But you have to start to be great. Good morning to one and all present over here. My name is Purnima Sahu. I am of class 8A from Satnaj House, and today I am here to discuss about the topic how to overcome fear. What do we understand by listening the term fear? Fear means being afraid of something. Everyone has some fear inside them, like fear of heights, fear of water, fear of spiders, or fear of closed spaces, which is also known as claustrophobia. If you talk about me, I had a stage fear. Until I went to the stage for the first time, and now I am not hesitated to speak in front of you all on the stage. And by this, I realized that you can't do it if you never face it. You can't do it if you never face it. The best thing I have done to overcome my fear is talking to yourself in front of mirror, and this will increase your self-confidence. At last, I would like to deliver a quote in front of you all, which is the secret of getting ahead is getting started. Thank you and have a nice day.
Well expressed and confidently spoken.
If you don't, you'll find an excuse. Greetings to everyone present here. Respected principal, sir. Find a way. If you don't want, you'll find an excuse. Greetings to everyone present here. Respected principal, sir, my teachers and my fellow mates. I, Divyanshu from class 8, will present my views on the topic role of sports in our life. So, let me introduce this topic to you. First of all, what is sports? Sports is not only a game. It is a way to connect people emotionally and a way to make people adaptable to violent situations. Like a person who is not knowing the things what to do. He can even learn from sports. Like he is adaptable to situations that are worst to worst. And then now let me tell the role of sports. Role of sports is very vital in our life as it gives us the physical and mental fitness. And now I would like to give an example of Michael Phelps, a famous swimmer who has won 24 medals in Olympics. And do you know, he was a mentally challenged person. He used to take situations very harsh on him. He was very serious and that was his problem. But he was built different. He knew how to make his problem his strength. Now, to make people adaptable to situation, you need to play sports. And sports adds moral values to our life as we can be united, and that leads to unity. And that can help us to be understandable to the people. Now I would like to conclude my speech with a quote. Raise your words, not voice, because it's rain that grows flowers, not thunder. Thank you and have a nice day.
KV Rohit from class 7A of Ravi House, going to give my speech on the future of technology. The technology will make the life very bright.
For you to express my views on given topic, my favorite hobby. My favorite hobby is listening music and singing songs. I love to listen songs and like devotional songs, Bollywood songs and all. I want to become a singer, not, but I love to sing songs and want to do good in this. So can I start from starting? And over here today, I, Anshika from Ravi House, stand before you to express my views on the given topic, singing songs. On the topic, my favorite hobbies. My favorite hobby is singing songs. I love to sing songs because I love to sing songs and listening music. Listening music can refresh my mind and improve my singing skills. Devotional songs and Bollywood songs I love to sing, and whenever I feel sad, I listen the songs of this songs like devotional songs and all.
And all present here, I, Suratvanti Sharma of Ravi House, going to express my views on the topic, why should we save water? I would like to start my topic
through a fun fact. We all learned in geography that 71% of our earth is covered with water and only 3% of the water is fresh water and around 1% of this is drinkable. Our water is precious gift for us, but we waste it. And I would like to say that in our India, we have accepted some rivers like river Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati as our mother, but we worship them and after that we pollute them. I would like to say that I would like to talk about that how we pollute them. Sailors in big ships, we have some oils, hazardous products which sometimes spills out in our ocean water and pollutes the water. Due to this, aquatic life is in danger. And in conclusion, I would like to say a quote which is said by our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi. There is sufficiency things for a man's need, but not for man's greed. Thank you.
That we have to become one day. Good morning, everyone. I Advik Singh from class 6A representing Jhelum House on the topic how to achieve our goals. If we have to achieve our goals in our life, we have to work harder for it. We have to do hard work because hard work is the key to success. Yes. For achieving goals, we have to try and try. Every time we get the disappointment, but we don't have to give up. For example, the students of many colleges decide that due to pressure of their goals and study, but don't do that. Try and try every time because hard work makes you the success. Yes. Hard work makes you the success. You have to make a mindset also that I have to achieve my goal. For any cost, I have to do that. I have to achieve my goals. What I have to do, I will do that. For example, the students of NEET, IIT, and IT students work harder for their goals, but they didn't got success on their first times, but they didn't lose their hopes. They worked harder many times and got the success and achieved their goals. How? And become the one though they want to be. Thank you and have a nice day.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anshuman Singh. Today, I am here to present a speech on the topic, what if there were no mobile phones? So imagine, if there were no mobile phones, then there could not be the source of communication, information, and entertainment. Firstly, I would like to talk about its main feature, which is communication. Like, if I want to talk a person who is living in USA, I could talk to him at any time, like at midnight, at evening, at morning, and at any time. And if I have any emergency like calling an ambulance or fire brigade, then I would not be able to do so because there would not be mobile phones to communicate. Secondly, I would like to talk about its second feature, which is entertainment. If there were no mobile phones, then there would be no games for time pass, no Google for information, no ChatGPT for preparing speeches and chatting. Thirdly, I would like to talk about its
third feature, which is collecting information. If mobile phones were not there, we would not be able to know the news of the world, the history of the world, the inventions invented by humans, and many more. Thank you.
Any historical figure, he would be Birbal. You must be thinking, why him? Here's the answer. You must have heard many stories of Birbal, and he is well known among us because of his quick thinking, wisdom, and problem solving skills. It became my wish when I heard this story of Birbal. Once in cold winter season, the king and courtiers kept a challenge of standing in cold water all night without any heat source. Many persons denied, but one poor man agreed. He stood there and the water level was till his waist. There was a lamp lighting far away. He used to look at it to get encouraged all night. Then, when the next morning this news came to the court, the other courtiers said that he must be got the warmth from that lamp all night. He is not deserving that prize, and the prize got denied. Then, next day, Birbal invited all the courtiers and king to have lunch in his house. He hanged the porridge pot on the top of the tree and placed a fire below it on the ground. And when the king saw this, he asked, "How it's going the porridge cooked to Birbal?" The Birbal replied, like that only the man got warmth from the lamp that far away. The king realized his mistake and realized that the reason for not giving prize to the man was baseless, and he gave his deserving prize to the man. At last, I would like to say that wisdom always paves the road. You must think clearly and carefully, and if you will think like that, you will always overcome the situations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anshi, for a impactful presentation. Judges, please note that she was the last participant.
Principal sir, teachers, parents, and all my dear friends, good morning. Myself, Nancy Yadav of class 8A. I am going to present my views on the topic if I became invisible for a day. As you all are students, you all also know that if you all also became invisible for a day, you also want to have lots of chocolates, have lots of fun, and make lot of joyful that day. And I also want to do that. As I am having a younger sister than me, I will take all the revenge from her. And a part of that, if I would be invisible, it should not only profit to me, you all also should also have profit. So for that, I would like to help all the poor people, help the needy person, and all the people who needs help. Let me give an example. A day when I went to a place, I saw a ice cream man. He was selling ice cream whose price was 10 rupees. He sold it only of 5 rupees. But then I understand that I should help him. I think that I should also give him 5 rupees more. Then I thought, I will give you 10 rupees. But he said, no, I don't want that. Then I said, you can take, it's your. Then he said, no, I will not, because it is not the money of my work. I just work for only 5 rupees. Then I thought that this is not fair.
If I would become the invisible for one day, then I would help him in any condition. Thank you.
Investment as well as wastage of time. Good morning everybody. Myself Rudra Pratap Singh standing before you from Ganges House to express my views on the given topic to me, that's impact of social media on kids. The impact of social media on kids is trending on social media itself. The impact of social media on kids is not very much good nowadays, because kids are addicting towards them. They are falling on the trap of social media. They are just chatting, sending pictures to their friends, making new friends and chat with their classmates all the time. They don't obey their parents as well. They just go deep in the chatting with friends. And also, some people use them as their friend. Like an example is a girl in trending news is cracked IAS and she is now senior IAS officer, and do you know she studied from YouTube. So don't waste your time on social media by just chatting. Kids also, and even boys and girls. Girls usually are addicted to social medias by sending pictures. Boys also show pictures to girls and then show off like having gun, many cars and so. But don't waste your time on social media. Invest that. Like that girl, she invested her time wisely and cracked UPSC exam. So my last word for that my view is that Abraham Lincoln said, don't waste your time. It is precious and limited. And don't waste your time for anybody else's life. Like in the topic, don't see others post pictures, chats. Invest your time on social media like that girl who cracked UPSC by just studying from YouTube. So, my heartily humble request to every parent and teachers that make your child he or she doesn't become slave of social media, but make them slave of them. Thank you and have a nice day.
I'd like to call Darshil, who will speak on the topic, Is money everything in life?
Is money everything in life? Not at all. Money is not everything in life. Good morning to one and all present over here, respected judges, teachers, and my dear friends. I am Darshil Panchal from class 8 going to represent Ganges House on the topic Money is not everything in life. Money can't buy freedom, money can't buy happiness, money though can't buy time. We cannot do whatever we want from the money. Though we can make people happy by using our money, by offering them some money or giving gifts or offering some meals for a day. Money is not the key to success. I know a people who was very rich and always rushed for money. He didn't have much time to spend with his parents, and now he though has tough relation with them. Many people who are very rich are not happy in their life, as they have trouble in facing that their money can be stolen, or if they don't.
First, Ravi second, Jhelum third, and Ganges fourth. And the speakers will be judged on a total of 25 marks, which includes relevant points for 15, language 5 marks, and confidence 5 marks.
Moving with Sutlej House, the first participant is Ujjwal Kumar with the topic The Impact of Social Media on Society.
Social media knows when we sleep,
when we wake up and what we do. But do they realize our emotions? Good morning everyone, my fellow classmates, keen listeners, resourceful judges and respected principal sir. Today, I, Ujjwal Kumar, am going to speak on the topic, the impact of social media on society. Social media is an integral part of our life. It helps in connecting people throughout the world. But factually, does it steal our data? On the positive side, social media is a boon. It can help people connect with their friends and family. It shares information, raises awareness on important topics, and even helps businesses grow. It has democratized information and provided a platform for voices that might otherwise go unheard. But social media can also be a curse. If misused, it can lead to misinformation, it invades our privacy, and even lets for people, it leads to echo chambers that people might fight with their similar ideas, limiting understanding. Social media. Social media is a tool, but if misused, it can also be a trap. We are its saddle, and social media is the horse, but we are its saddle. Social media is the pet, and we are its master. Thank you.
Today I, Adarsh Kumar Srivastav of Satlaj House, stand before you to speak of a topic of surreal importance in our life. Empty vessels make the most noise. Esteemed judges, respected dignitaries, the ever-curious audience and my fellow speakers. We all have heard of the term, actions speak louder than words. If we look at the converse of this term, we might realize people who speak too much might not have too much to do. Or people with fewer intellectual capabilities have much more to say. This is the truest essence of empty vessels make the most noise. Dear judges, we all have met a plethora of human personalities in our life. But I'm sure we all have met people who speak just way too much. We live in a world where it's easy to say, I'll change, I'll study more, I'll do this, I'll do that. But how many of us are people of our words? Barely few. Let me put it this way. As students, it's very easy to say, I'll speak, I'll study, I'll do my work, I'll reach my goals, I'll reach my dreams. But if I don't put any efforts into my dreams, into my words, will I truly ever achieve it? I say no. As leaders, similarly as leaders, people who just go on giving speeches, promises and rallies might not have too much time to develop their people, develop their country and to work for the citizens. Thus, actions speak much more than words. Also, on this stage, I want you all to know, spending time telling people about what you need to do, what you will do, is not really important. When you do what you need to do, when you do what you're telling them to do, you will actually gain the respect of people. So, stop spending time telling what you need to do, telling what you want to do, but instead, go on and proving your actions. Words can inspire, but actions prove. Match your words with your actions and the world will believe in you. Thank you.
Principal sir, honorable judges, esteemed teachers, and my fellow friends. It feels very delighted to speak in front of a wonderful audience on a topic which is very real. Necessity is the mother of inventions. Yes, necessity is very truly mother of inventions. Like I will explain this with some examples. Necessity of cooking, of food, led to the invention of fire. Necessity of transportations led to the invention of wheel. Necessity of more fast transportation and with more advancements led to the invention of steam engine. Yes, inventions only need subconscious mind, abstract thinking, a need and the preparation. Do you know Thomas Edison, who invented a light bulb? He just invented after 1,000 failures. He said, I am not a failure, but I have discovered 1,000 ways which won't really work. Winners don't do things differently. They do the same things in a very different way. Life is full of cause and effect. Necessity is the cause and effect is the invention. Thank you so much.
Judges and all my dear friends, today I, Avni Pandey, am delighted to speak on the topic God helps those who help themselves. Once there was a farmer who had a son who depended on God a lot. He was procrastinating a lot and complaining more than that. He thought that God would help him and never worked hard for himself. One day the farmer came to him and told him the field has a big treasure in it. If you work hard and dig it every day, you will get that treasure and it will change your destiny, my son. After that, son started working hard. But he did not find a treasure, but he helped his father get a good harvest. When he sat there with disappointment, his father looked at him and said, "My dear son, this is the true treasure. It has long been observed that greatness comes from efforts and foresightedness, which comes from guidance that a human has in himself. And this is visible in absolutely every aspect of life, whether social, political, personal, or any other aspect." Have you ever wondered why the big giants, founder of big giants, always succeed? Because they do not walk on the path created by people. They do not just believe in God, they create their own path and leave a trace. They don't pray to God, they pray for success, they believe in their destiny. And my friend, this thinking is the guidance of God himself, just like Krishna guided Arjun to succeed in the battlefield. And this also reminds me something that SP Sir shared with us when he came to give us his guidance. He said with such beautiful words that if people's opinions are, like ocean, there are so many. If you go to the ocean with a spoon, you will get so little. But my friend, if you just dive into the ocean, wouldn't you just drown? So go with a bucket, get as much as you can, and always live up to it, because water is a necessity and it guides us just like the mighty Creator does. Also, just like Chanakya said that God is the potential investor that invests in our product and capital if it is good and it changes our destiny. This leads me to my conclusion that you should believe in yourself. Just don't think that determination is because of God. Believe in your own destiny. Some people are destined to be successful, but some people are determined to be successful. And this thought makes me conclude that the true magnificence doesn't lie merely in the achievement, but in the perseverance that leads us there. So together we can, together we must, together we can, together we must face our own destiny and believe in God, because manifestation is powerful until it becomes procrastination, which is awful. Thank you.
Each one of you present over here, respected principal, esteemed judges, honorable teachers, and all my dear friends. Today, I, Bhavya Tarun from Ravi House, am standing here to speak on a topic that is very close to my heart. That is, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. We live in a world filled with opportunities and potentials. We are surrounded by so many success stories, and we love to listen to these motivational speeches of successful people. But when it comes to imagining ourselves in their places, we get intimidated. We think and we convince ourselves that it was their destiny and we are just not meant for it. My dear friends, I agree. The path towards success or a goal or a change is scary. It's intimidating. It's risky because you're going to devote your whole life towards it. But ask yourselves this, is it the risk worth taking? Because if you do not take the risk, you're not going to win either way. But if you do take the risk, there is going to be a chance that you are going to win. And even if you do not win, you are going to gain a wonderful experience that is going to shape you into a better version of yourself. Imagine if Cristiano Ronaldo got intimidated and thought that just because he doesn't know the basics of football yet, he is never going to become an international player. We would have not gained such an amazing star. What if Virat Kohli got intimidated and thought it's just too risky and opted for a corporate job? We would have lost such an amazing gem of our country. So, when I got motivated from these stories, I took a step myself. When I was 10, I got interested in martial arts, especially Wushu. But I just thought to myself that I'm just not meant for it. I almost convinced myself that it's just not my destiny. But I gathered all my courage and signed up for martial arts classes. I trained rigorously for 3 years, and there was a time when I was so demotivated that I was on the verge of giving up. But I continued, and after 3 years, when I was 13, I got the opportunity to compete on a national Wushu championship and secured second prize there. So I asked myself this question, that if I would have got too intimidated that day, and I would have just convinced myself that it is not my destiny, I would have never been able to compete there. So my dear friends, never lose faith. Just go for it. The risk is worth taking because you only live once. And I personally believe that because we only live once, I wouldn't want to have any regrets. Thank you very much.
To one and all present over here, respected principal sir, honorable teachers, esteemed judges, and all my dear friends. Today I am Vedant on behalf of Ravi House going to express my views on the topic slow and steady wins the race. So I know that we are familiar of the story of the race between turtle and rabbit, where turtle wins the race. And also we know that the moral of the story was that slow and steady wins the race. So we should remember from the story that even if we are fast and intelligent, it is not compulsory that we will win the race. Sometimes the person is slow but not steady. So if we think in our life that we are very slow than others and compare with them so that we cannot compete them. But it's not true. Slow people have their power to change the world if they have their potentials. People just like think that this is a slow person, he can't do anything. But this is not true. People don't have the right to say to slow people because slow people have a potential to change the world. In conclusion, slow people can do as the fast people cannot in this because it is mandatory, it is not compulsory that slow people could not do anything. Thank you and have a nice day.
Respected principal sir, teachers, judges and all my dear friends. Myself Sarthak Srivastava and today I present an extempore on the topic that tide and time wait for none. Well friends, I want to give the example of APJ Abdul Kalam sir, who utilized his time and realized the importance of time. He became the president, continued his engineering degree and was entitled with the title of Missile Man of India. So before delving deep into this topic, let's imagine a world. Let's imagine a world where all people have infinite time. So what will be the scenery of that world? I would see many people slacking of their time like it is water. So will they be successful in their life? No, at least in my opinion. Well, people who feel sad after wasting their time, two things can be said for them. Life is full of ups and downs. You can't become successful and compare it and believe that success would be permanent. On the other hand, if you don't get success after working hard, change the path. Change the part, not the goal, as trees always change their leaves, not their roots. In conclusion, I want to say that life is like a canvas, painted with vibrant colors of our choices and brushstrokes of our decisions. For moments, we have a chance to create a masterpiece and weave a tale of resilience and triumph. For it takes to take a leap of faith and watch the universe conspire our dream into reality. For it is the pursuit of our actions, passions, that we discover our true potential and unleash the extraordinary within us. In the end, I want to say that success is not permanent and failure is not final. And we should realize that after success, don't stop working. And after failure, don't stop trying. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.
Everyone, today I Divyanshi Singh and I am going to speak on the topic Don't Judge a Book by its Cover. This topic means that we should not judge anyone by their appearance, by their looks or how the way they dress themselves. Because you don't know where that person has come from. You don't know their knowledge. You don't know their background. So how come you judge them by their appearance? Do you know that Mahatma Gandhi was judged brutally by his appearance? People thought that how is he going to earn freedom of India? But as a result, he was one of those our best freedom fighters, because of which we are an independent India. So my dear friends, you should never judge anyone by the pair of clothes they wear. You should judge them by their heart, by their knowledge. I'm ashamed to say that I have also judged a person by his appearance. When I first came to this school, I met a girl. She had a really cold expression with a poker face. I immediately think of her as a mean girl. And I was like, I am not going to talk to her. But just 5 days later, I got sick. And I had to stay at home for days. And no one helped me give their notes. But then she came. She gave me her notes. She also taught me the topics that were left. And I was so thankful to her and I was ashamed of myself that how can I judge such a pure person by their looks. And this has not happened to me once but twice. When I was in 6th grade, I was really struggling with maths. So I applied for tuition. And there was this teacher, she was really childlike, she was cheerful. And I thought that how come she teach me maths? She herself looks like a child. But then I was shocked to see her knowledge. She knew all the formulas and she taught me really well. I was again ashamed of myself that how come I judge such a knowledgeable person just because she was cheerful and childlike. This also happened to me. When I was in 7th grade, I applied for all swimming competition in Bangalore. I went there for summer vacation and everyone judged me for my height and for my body because I was kind of healthy, and they were like, how come she swim? But my dear friends, I scored first position in that and they were shocked to see how come I do that. So, my dear friends, you should not judge anyone by their appearance because you don't know their skill or knowledge. So my dear friends, I hope you never judge anyone by their looks, just what I have did to myself and what I have did to others. Thank you and have a nice day.
They say that a pen is mightier than a sword, but what I think is a bit of caution can avoid the need of both of these. Good morning to one and all present over here. I am Lakshi. I am going to present my views on this idea of a topic, look before you leap. You know, it's so easy to say it out loud. It's like sitting on the tip of our tongue. So easy, that look before you leap. But where the real hardships kick in, where we realize what a paradox of this situation is, we just know that it's so hard to actually practice it out loud. You know, this look before you leap. What is this, like from an athlete's dictionary? Well, that's one way to look at it. But I think there are deeper layers to uncover. So let's go, let's uncover them. You know, in our daily lives, there can be so many things spiraling away. There can be so many issues. And even if then we just spare a few seconds before acting up, we just spare a few seconds before speaking now, we can just avoid doing so much of damage which we can never undo. That's so great, right? You want a practical example? Say no less. Like, look around yourselves. This auditorium where we are sitting, even this stage where I am speaking, the seats on which you are sitting, all of them, do you think they just clicked in 1 second? They did not. Each of them, even the seats, the stage, this mic, each of them took their own set of planning, took a million thoughts put to them before they could act. And now, I'm speaking, you guys are listening, and for generations to come, they will enjoy the consequences because our authorities, they just thought before actually acting out. They thought about every corner, every light before acting out. You want, a more known example? It's like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. We all know him. He's such a great persona. We admire him, we look up to him, he's such a great personality. But have we ever thought that whatever he did, why these things, the thoughts which he put behind all of his words, which led him to where he stands right now, where we admire and look up to him. So he and millions of other great personas, they are proofs that these words, which may look hollow from the outside, they are not actually hollow. No, they have a millions of thoughts put behind them. And these things, my friends, prove that looking before we leave, thinking before we act, is what makes a legacy lasting. Because, my friends, actions are like a candle, but the thoughts which we put behind them, the things we thought before actually doing them out, are the spark, are like the light which gives the spark to the candle. I think my words are coming to a halt now, and I'll have to bow down to you all for bearing with me so long. But I have to just tell you all that I hope all of my thoughts have had an effect on you and will continue to have one. Because trust me, you don't want the consequences of your actions, of your hollow words, knocking on your door. Thank you and have a delightful day.
It is not to be happy. It is to be compassionate, useful and honorable. Good morning to respected principal sir, teachers, judges and all my dear friends. Today I, Saksham Kumar Singh of Ganges House, going to speak on the topic United we stand, divided we fall. I don't see it as another subject of discussion. I see it as an opportunity to speak, an opportunity to question, an opportunity to argument. It is to uncover the truth of reality. It is a very relevant topic in our society. Let us first divide the line in two parts, which is united we stand and divided we fall. First, let us see what the united we stand means. It means when people come in group, they are able to perform a task which an individual can't perform. As in a group, someone is there to figure out the mistakes, someone is there to find what new things can be done, someone is there to motivate ourselves, someone is there to be compassionate, cooperative. And now let us figure out what is the meaning of second part, which is divided we fall. As an individual, we get demotivated easily. We struggle to find the new things in a project. If there is a many mistake, we figure out in last as it is not working, it is not it is not compatible with the thing. So doing things in group is very useful. For example, why school projects are given in group? It is given in group because there is someone to figure out the pictures. Someone is there to figure out the context and what is to be written. Someone is there to motivate yourself. Someone is there to figure out the mistakes. Someone is there to decorate and many more. At last, I would like to stop my words with a beautiful quote, which is, when people come together, humanity truly rises. Thank you and have a nice day.
Valuable, don't waste on practicing such unnecessary things. You can practice your time by reading books. Good morning, Honorable Principal Sir, Honorable Judges, teachers, and all of my dear friends. I am Ritika and I am from class 11th A. Thank you, Anand sir, for giving me such a big opportunity to speak in front of these peoples. And my topic is for today is benefits of reading books. We say that books are our best friend. Why do we say these kind of things? Do books talk? No, I don't think books talk. But by going through these books, we find a lot of moral values. Books are. It's not just a quote that books are our best friend. It's a small line which carries a lot of emotions. Suppose I'm taking my example. I've asked to my father that what did the freedom fighters done for us? And I'm sorry, but he slapped me so hard. And he said, read the book, Bharat Ki Khoj. And I denied, I refused. I said that I have a lot of syllabus to study. Why will I read this book? So Papa said, as you have asked, what did the freedom fighters do? You will go through this book and you will realize how they were. And I've read that book. At first, I've thought that Bharat Ki Khoj book was just a historical book and it's boring. But when I have read that book, I've seen that how the Britishers ruled us, how they destroyed our economy, how they stole minerals from our India, how they made us poor and they ruled our country, ruined it. I've seen how Jawaharlal Nehru explained everything beautifully. He explained every movement there. So I'm advising you all to read books, but don't become me. If you only go in syllabus and study this kind of your syllabus. I'm taking an example of another book which was Panchtattva. In that book, people were compared as animals. The book was fun with a lot of fun. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Good morning to everyone present over here. Today I, Ragni Shahu of Ganges House, is here to deliver a speech on the topic Practice What You Preach. The basic meaning of the topic is change yourself, follow your guidelines yourself before giving advices to others. Think of yourself how many times you have given advice to your friends to be punctual, to not overthink. But if you find yourself not always following the guidelines you give up to others, then you're not practicing what you preach. But why is it difficult to practice what you preach? The answer is very simple. Because to practice what we preach, it requires us to step out of our comfort zone and to change our lives for the better. But rarely someone does that. For an example, if you take to go to a dietitian and you find one in your city, you step in and find a fat man, obese, with junk foods on his table, eating and drinking cold drinks, we all will step back because we will not trust him if he will be able to guide us. But why so? Because he is not practicing what he preaches. He gives guidelines, advises others to do something, but he himself is not practicing those. That's why always remember, practice what you preach. Change yourself from within before giving advices to others. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you for your time and effort in evaluating today's performances. And to our lovely audience, thank you for your applause, encouragement and quiet attention.
Group D. The competition started with Group B children and gradually we saw how the level of the competition rose up. But what was felt sitting there topics taken up for today's competition these are not picked up randomly. Well thought. We sit with principal sir. There is a team of teachers who select topics according to your level. And even if the proverbs were taken for group D, we have focused most on the proverbs this side. But the level of the proverbs which we have taken, children, were according to the day-to-day circumstances which we face. And group A and B, and even the related proverbs of group D, we give you ample exposure during our school assemblies. And let me tell you, children, if you are just attentive during your assemblies, our assemblies are, books can be written on the topics which are taken up by you children only. You all prepare the assemblies for all of us. And when you are called here to come and express your views, there are few things which you need to keep in mind. First of all, don't mug up something and come. There are ways to present your topic. You've got a topic. There are 2 to 3 things which you need to keep in mind. One is, just give an introduction to your topic, whatever topic you've got. Introduce the topic. Go at a slower pace. Organize your thoughts. You have been given the topic well in advance. So the time which you get to prepare, you can synchronize your thoughts, and the flow should move here, which shouldn't be noticed by the audience. This is for the participants and for the audience also next time when you are participating. Okay, children? Don't be in a hurry to present or whatever you have memorized or whatever you know. Don't be in a hurry to put it up in the first minute, and then you slow down your pace. So that pace has to be maintained throughout. And then meanwhile, when you are expressing your thoughts, decide for a conclusion. That is, don't leave the stage abruptly by saying thank you, because you might have exhausted with the thoughts. You might not have something to express beyond that. That should not come to us. That should not come to the judges. You should give us an impression that yes, these were the points which you had lined up and you gave your best and went away. Left the stage. Clear, children? Rest. Everything went off well. You all did really well. A commendable job, I would say, because this is what we discussed with group B and C also. It's not that easy to come and speak here on a topic given randomly to you. But we tried to pick up topics where you could actually speak and you did justice to the topic, but just few points which I wanted to tell you all, so that when you come for an extemporary competition, this is how we present. Okay, children? Good. Now, I would like to invite on stage Manoj sir, who was one of the judges, to kindly come and express his views.
Very much, Jasveer Madam, Honorable Principal Sir, learned colleagues, lovely children, and respected parents. It has been wonderful experience to listen on the different topics. The thoughts you expressed, children, really they were wonderful. I have been listening from group B to D. The performance of Group B, I must say, it has been very good because the topics which were chosen and given to them to express, they all spoke with their own personal experience and something by learning with the help of householders. But their presentation, overall, it was nice. If I talk about Group C, again I will say it was very good presentation, but we felt that there is something which can be improved. And what can we improve, children? The content, some of you were not able to continue till the allotted time. Why you could not express? Because you people, I feel, do not expose yourself for more reading other than your subject books. We should be aware what is happening around us. We should read some newspapers, magazines, some essays, stories, which can enhance our experience about the society, what is happening around us. For the same time, there were some grammatical mistakes, which generally we think that Group C means 6-7 students should not commit. Like if I say, the boy which is standing there is my friend. Is it right, children? It's not right? What is wrong over there? Which. In place of which, what should be there? Who. But if in Group C, 6, 7, 8, we are little bit not aware by the use of such words, so we need to improve our grammar. And I think it is our responsibility. Our means, we all language teachers as well as you students. We should focus more on the grammar. Like if we say that peoples are running, peoples are sitting here. Again, people is itself plural. So we should avoid this. So these are very common and silly mistake I feel. If we will become aware and watchful, so these mistakes we will not commit. For the same time, what do we need? Many of you spoke very well that as we think, means our thoughts become words. So thought process, how we can enhance? If we read good books, we keep good company, we are watchful what is happening around us. In this way we will have very good thoughts, and those thoughts will become our words, and they will form our action that becomes our character, and our character becomes our personality, means we become champion. So we need to be more watchful about our thought, how to enrich our ideas. And this can happen only by reading more and listening attentively. As Jasveer Madam highlighted, that our assemblies are tunnel of knowledge, we can say ocean of knowledge, where you people only prepare on the different topics, and if we listen them attentively, we personally believe, we all believe, that on any topic we can speak anywhere, not only in this extempore, anywhere you can speak. But what is lacking, that we are not attentive listener. Especially in the senior classes, I ask children to write a report for about a page on the assembly. What happened today? What sir said? And I am happy to note that many students have started writing. So we all should make this habit, because we spend around 25 to 30 minutes in the assembly. Very good ideas, thoughts are shared, and they all help to groom our personality, enhance our knowledge, and make us more experienced about what is happening around us in the world, science, society, and what not. Now, I would like to say something about Group D. We were very happy. I must appreciate and request you all to just have a big round of applause for Group D. Why Group D? Because the competition was very tough. Each participant spoke so well. At least their thoughts, they were very meaningful, very lofty, to the point, and very relevant to the given topic. Their confidence and language part was also excellent. Already Madam has highlighted is that there is difference, Group B, C, D. As we move upward, the level and standard improves. And we have witnessed this, and this make us to feel proud of you children. Thank you very much, and wish you that best for the future. Those who are sitting in the audience here, dear friends, you also have wonderful platform. That is our classroom. If I talk about your result in the English language or in any language, even in the other subjects, you all score excellent. 80% above, 90% above, and 90. Some of you score even 100. But why? Sometimes you lag behind when it comes about the speaking from the stage. Because you do not practice. Remember this, if you want to become good orator, you have to practice. Similarly, as you want to become good batsman, you have to hold a bat and be in the field. You want to be a good swimmer, you will have to be in the water. So for becoming good orator, we need to speak. So first where we can speak? In the class. And helping you all to become good orator, it is the responsibility of all the teachers, not only language teacher, I think. But teachers give you opportunity, you know, and become hesitant. You don't come forward to express your views. And that is the point from where you lag behind. So whenever you get opportunity in the class to speak, when your teachers ask something, we teachers ask you, whatever you know, don't feel that if I will say something, it will be wrong, others will laugh. Or the teacher may not like it. We like whatever you speak in the classroom. We are there to correct you, help you to be better. So don't hesitate. Use the classroom as the best platform to develop your oratory skill, communication skill, confidence, courage, and be the leader. Thank you very much.
Respected parents, judges of the day, teachers, participants, and all lovely children sitting over here. Jasbir ma'am and Manoj sir, they have spoken about the performance. All this while, I was listening that, and in the previous extempore competitions also, we often say that topics are given on the spot. Children have less time to prepare. So we try to highlight that part of it. But I feel, though the time is less, the performance of the students depends on how much knowledge they have gained before coming onto the stage, before taking on the competition. Getting the topic on the spot and speaking about it. You can speak about it when you have a base, and base comes through preparation, planning. When you spend time in reading and imbibing knowledge. One thing that Manoj sir said, that to become good speaker, you need to practice. There's no doubt about it. But to become a good speaker, Another thing is required, and that is you need to be a listener also. Ask yourself, are you a good listener? If you are a listener, you will be following so many things, you will grasp so many things. And then you have to be like a duck. Duck has a special beak. The beak has two holes on the upper part. And the way it takes the food from the drains, other bodies, it is made in a way where it picks up the water through its beak, and then from those two holes, the unwanted part is thrown out, and the part that the duck wants to take inside, it takes it. So that's how you have to be a listener, a reader, a social media user, because we will be coming across so many things. Everything you don't have to keep in your mind. You don't have to store everything. We human beings have been blessed with a beautiful mind, brain. It automatically stores things that are to our interest, and other things it doesn't store. So instruct to your mind that I want knowledge, I want good things. Think good. Have good feelings for yourselves that I want to develop. I want to become a scientist. I want to become a good speaker. When you will express these feelings within you, the entire universe will help you to become so. The time spent over here listening to right from group B to D students, I feel blessed that we heard so many of you coming onto the stage, addressing us, speaking so well. And as principal, it always makes me feel proud that the children are being groomed properly with the help of teachers, with the help of parents back at home. And then you reach a stage in the higher classes where you learn through self-study also. Self-study is the best study. Coming over your other errors, small errors, grammatical errors. Your subject doesn't match with the verb, verb doesn't match with the subject. That part you can easily overcome by delving into reading. The more you will read, the better you will become. And then, if you can write down your views, write down your thoughts. There's so many things you can write. Manoj sir gave you the example of writing down what happened in assembly. Similarly, out of 8 periods that you attend, at least one period, something very interesting must have taken place. Write down about that. What did I learn today? Write one paragraph. You don't have to write 10 pages. So once you start that, automatically in a couple of years you will see that you are writing 10 pages also. We had one of the topics, journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So take the first step. Don't shy away from it. Take those first steps in whichever field you want to grow, and I'm sure you will not just cross 1,000 miles but many more. Thank you.
Present over here. As we come to the end of this memorable event, I, Satyam Anand, Senior Head Boy, it's my privilege to propose vote of thanks to all those who made this event a success. I would like to take a moment to express my deepest respect and gratitude to Honorable Principal Sir for his constant support, guidance and vision that has been instrumental in making today's event a success. A very special thanks to our judges for sparing their valuable time with us today. Your keen observation and insightful decisions have added great value to this competition. I would also like to thank our teachers for their efforts in guiding the participants, and of course, also a special mention to all the talented participants. You truly amazed us with your quick thinking, fluent expression and confident delivery. Finally, to the audience, thank you for your presence and support. Your energy and enthusiasm created an encouraging atmosphere for our participants. Once again, I would like to thank everyone involved, directly or indirectly, for making this competition a great success. We look forward to many more events held by DPS family. Thank you and have a nice day.